Dear listener, a very good morning to you and welcome to Perspectives, a current affairs discussion program on iGate Radio 95.5 Star FM, Makurdi, Benue State. This morning on the program, our focus is on the need for sex education for children to curb child molestation. The sex education has been an issue that is commonly talked about, but with children becoming prey to sexual predators in the society, issues of rape, issues of child abuse and molestation have continued to bother the society in families, in schools, and in public places. What can be done to curtail the menace of this situation? This is why on this edition, we shall spotlight the need for sex education for children to curb child molestation. I hope parents and the public will learn a lesson or two from this and how it is important for us to speak to our wards and our children on issues concerning sex, not shying away from it as if it is not something to be discussed in the homes or in the schools. And to lead discussion on this subject matter, I have with me in the studio the Zonal Commander, National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, Makurdi Zonal Command. Mrs. Gloria Bai is my guest on Perspectives this morning. Welcome to Perspectives, Zonal Commander, NAPTIP.
Good morning, Nat. Thank you for having me.
Happy Easter. We are seeing the Easter season, I suppose.
Yes.
All right. Also with us as our discussant on the program is a school teacher and a counselor, a teacher and school counselor at Unique Secondary School, Makurdi, Miss Grace Iorkumbur is our second lead discussant on Perspectives this morning. Welcome to the studio of iGate Radio, Miss Iorkumbur.
Thank you very much.
My name is Nathaniel Nongu, welcoming you to this Monday edition of Perspectives. And if you are joining us today on this edition, kindly be informed that Perspectives is an audience interactive program which you have the opportunity to phone in or send a text message to contribute on the subject matter we are focusing on. The program is broadcast from now to 11 a.m. And at 10 o'clock, the line for calls will be available for you to phone in and make contributions on the subject matter we are focusing on. You can also send us a text message or a WhatsApp chat, and the lines available for that purpose, the one for calls, which will be available at 10 o'clock, is 081-433-59292. 081-433-59292. That will be available for calls at 10 o'clock. You can also send us a text message or a WhatsApp chat to contribute on 091-2699-404. 091-2699-404. That line is available for text messages and WhatsApp chats soon as we begin the conversation. And let's remind you to follow this program, the live stream of it, on all our social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. You can also follow us via our website on www.iGateRadioTV.com. The program is also streaming live there. We are available on all these platforms. Kindly search us out and follow. You may drop your comments wherever you choose to, and we'll get it as your contribution. Let's begin our engagement here in the studio with the discussants who are already available. And I'd like to begin with you, Mrs. Bai. What are the aspects that easily comes to mind when we talk about sex education, particularly for children?
Okay, good morning, Nat. Good morning, everyone listening, all listeners out there. When you talk about sex education, most times when people are a little bit agitated or shy away from talking about it, but I think it's something we need to talk about, because growing up, some of us were meant to understand that there are certain things that you don't tell children, but with the growing changes in the world right now, even technology and all that, I think it's a topic that needs to be talked about in all places, from the primary school to the secondary school, and even amongst we women, talking about it to our children, that is in homes. So sex education is about talking about the sexuality or what sex is all about, and making children have informed information regarding what is sex, what is their gender, and how to protect themselves. So it is important that we bring up topics like that, and I'm glad and I'm happy that you have taken this day to talk about it, because it's something that I think that we should talk about it.
And we're happy that you also obliged us the time to come share with us, because your agency have been actively involved in this regard. I am with you now, Ms. Iorkumbur. Give us your perspectives, those aspects that easily come to mind when the subject of sex education is broached.
Thank you very much. Good morning, our listeners. Sex education is an orientation that is given to an individual that is growing up. It is important because as an individual is aging, there are certain changes that occur. And those changes now push the children to ask certain questions. And so, just as the first speaker spoke, we don't need to shy away from these questions. We need to answer them and give them the right perspective. We need to guide them. If we don't guide them well, then, the society have norms. They may deviate from the norms of the society. So at this point, our guidance is required seriously. Thank you.
Okay, let me come back to you. So to what extent are parents and guardians willing to speak to their children on issues concerning sex education, Mrs. Bai?
Okay, if you say to what extent are parents or guardians willing to, I don't know what happens in homes, but I think what we should be projecting is that there is need for everybody, guardians, parents, teachers, to talk to their children about sex education. And let me give you an example. I have 3 girls. I remember my first daughter when she was growing up. It got to a time, because sometimes even the parents are ignorant of certain things. That's just the truth. I got to a time my daughter started developing breasts. Her breasts started coming up. And I was so naive to the extent that I took her to the hospital, because she kept telling me that she's having some shocks around her breast area and all that. She's having this feeling of as if the sensation around her breast area. And the first thing that came to my mind was tumor. I was like, I hope it's not cancer. You understand? So sometimes even the parents are ignorant of what to tell the children. So I am married to a medical doctor, but somehow I was so agitated that I took my daughter to the hospital, and I insisted, because the father told me, no, I think she's just growing up. And I said, no, I don't think so, because I'm feeling something. The other part is growing up and the other part is not growing up. And I insisted. He said, okay, since you have insisted, let's go to the hospital. And when we got to the hospital, the doctor said, Then I looked at him and said, but you're a medical doctor, you're supposed to explain to your wife. He said she doesn't listen, so I just allowed her to come so that you tell her yourself. If I tell her, she would not. She was really agitated. So you can see, even as a mother, because growing up, we were not taught some of these things. That's why I said the world has evolved now. It's important that we should talk about it. So even the parents need to be educated for them to educate their children, or the guidance need to be educated to be able to tell their children what they need to know. A young girl that is growing up, she needs to understand the changes in her body. She needs to know that at a certain time, you're going to have breast. At a certain time, you're going to see something they call menstruation. She needs to understand that, and that is to make them have better information, or should be well informed, so that they know that when someone is even, and then what these parts of their body, what do they represent for them, even for the boy. I have a friend that kept saying she needs her husband to teach her son about growing up. So it's not only for the girl child, it's for every child. Because for puberty time, they need to understand that they are going to have changes in their body. And they need to know the extent to what these things are, these parts of their body, when these changes come, or what do they represent to you, about your sexuality? What does it represent? Is it that when, now the breast, am I supposed to allow anybody to touch it? You know, so the girl needs to understand, the boy too needs to understand that if somebody says, can I touch this part of you, is it okay? And for the boys that are growing up too, they need to know that yes, there's some times that I'll have this kind of feeling around me. What do I do with it? So most times we don't teach children these things because we're shying away. They'll tell you that sex is for the adults. It's not about the girl having sex. It's about the girl understanding her body and knowing to what extent that she will protect herself as a growing child. But even the boy, because of course most times when we talk more about the girl, but what about the boy child? Even he needs to know, and he needs to know how to protect himself. She needs to know how to protect herself. A lot of girls, sometimes you see them, like I keep using personal experiences.
Yes.
When you see, I had my husband's friend come over to the house, and my daughter, he was like, excited, oh, uncle, and then she was going to hug him, and then the next thing she was to sit on his lap, and my husband just screamed from where he was, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? He said, oh, I'm sorry. Just said, no, let her not sit. The friend was embarrassed, but eventually later when I spoke to him, he said he doesn't know what came of him. I said, yeah, what you did was right, but just that you overreacted. But a girl needs to know that there are certain places that a man should not touch you at a certain time. He doesn't have the right to do that. The boy too needs to know that. And I don't want to go too deep, but I know that there are many boys that have been molested by older women because they did not understand their body. So it's important that we should educate these children. So to the extent that parents, if you ask me how much the parents need to know, need to do, I would say there's a lot that we need to do. And in these present days, there's even more that we need to do because we have the internet. If we don't teach them, somebody else will teach them. I keep saying that what we're shying away from telling our children our words is what they are learning from the internet, from the phones that we give them. We give them very advanced phone technology that they can play with and they can access a lot of things, but we don't tell them what they are going to see there and how to be able to manage the information that they see out there. And so somebody else will be out there in the dark web or there on the internet telling them what to do. And that's why you see many children have been molested because somebody lured them at the internet and moved them out of the home and took advantage of them.
Okay. Mr. Iorkumbur, is there something you would like to add to this, especially with regards to the attitude of parents towards giving their words sex education, proper sex education?
Yes. Just as she said, these changes, some are physical, some are internal. Now, the physical ones we see in the girls, you see the breasts coming up and the size, their body sizes. You see the hips becoming, bigger than it were. And then in the boys, you see them, the voice breaks and becomes deeper. And then they begin to grow hair in their pubic regions. And then their chest becomes broad and like that. So these are the physical changes that you can see in the children. Now, once you begin to see this, in the girls, for instance, at that stage, they begin menstruation. And they need an adult to guide them on how to handle that, because it becomes a challenge to them. This is the first experience. So how do I go about with it? And they begin to ask questions. So at that point, an adult is supposed to guide them. We teach this in the schools. We teach them how to handle menstruation when they see them. In JSS 1, for instance, we have a topic on menstruation. So we give them that orientation. So for those that are in the boarding schools, it is a bit easier for them. But those that are in the day school, sometimes they get this experience and they hide even from their mothers. So it becomes difficult for them to handle. So at this point, we need to take charge as parents. Now, when you begin to see these physical changes in your child, that is when you come in, you begin to guide, you begin to help the child, talk to the child. Some, they come back to the mothers to ask questions. And when they ask you those questions, you don't need to shy away from them. Because as the changes are coming up physically, the internal ones too are bothering them. There are so many changes internally. They begin to have feelings that were not there before. So as they come up with questions, we really need to talk to them. We really need to guide them.
Okay, as a school counselor, you are a school counselor. Have you had experiences where your children in school, students, have come to confide in you on certain things about sex education that on a general note you want to educate the public about? Not divulging their secrets anyway, but using their experience to educate the public.
Now, talking about sex education, for me, I would say is very important. Now, if you look at the children that, my school is a boarding school. If you look at the children that are in the boarding schools, from JSS 1 to SS3, they spend more time with us in the school than they spend at home. Are you getting it?
Yes.
Now, within this time frame, everything they learn is from the school. It is only when they go on holiday that they get education from other sources like the internet and so on. But they spend more time with us in the school. And so that is why, as a school, we are doing our best to give them all the education they need. Now, some of them, just as I mentioned the changes, some of them are bothered when these changes begin to occur in them. So they come to us, like me, they come to confide in me. Ma, this is what I'm feeling. How do I go about it? And I will always do my job by telling them what to do. Now, let me just open up a bit. Some of the girls at this stage, just as Mrs. Bai said, they need to be given that orientation to know who is an uncle, who should not, who the child should relate openly with, and who the child should not. Now, there are some of these cases now occurring. You will see an uncle who is spending time in the house with the family. It is that uncle that sometimes will molest the cousin in the house. These things are happening. Now, some of the experience I gathered, the girl growing up need to be told when to say yes and when not to say yes. It may shock you, but we need to do that. Because some of them don't know how to say no. And some, they feel anything that comes, they should accept. So from my experience as a counselor, I saw the need for us to educate them, because most of them don't know these things, so they need to be told when to say no and when to say yes. Because my children drew my attention to that, and I had to give them that education. I had a psychological talk with them. Now, those that were graduating, they asked me, when should I accept a man that comes to me? So I took it upon me. When the few came, I gathered the whole class because I knew that I needed to guide all of them. So we had a session and I spoke to them. They wrote JAM, they wrote their WAEC, they were about to graduate. So I told them, the first year in the university is a year of running around. Everybody is trying to register here and there, running around. It is the second year that you settle. So at that time, you are just getting to know your classmates. In the third year, you are already familiar with everybody around you. So if a good guy comes to you, at that point you can say yes. Because at that point, some even get married within the time frame of their courses. So at that time you can say yes. But I also made them to understand that it is not every man that is a man, and it's not every woman that is a woman. You have to look out for these things. Character, compartment. Are you two compatible? Do you like the conduct of that person, the character of the person? These things should be your guide. So I think what we are doing, we help guide those ones outside too.
Okay, Mrs. Bai, I am back to you now. The mere mention of sex, I know some persons may cringe. Now, why is this topic suddenly a subject on the program this morning? But let's dig deeper into it. At what stage should it be appropriate for children to be given sex education, either by parents or their guardians?
Nat, sometimes I tell people that I think I'm paranoid from what I have seen, because my job has exposed me to so many things that if I just see a little girl around a man now, sometimes I'm wondering, is that child safe? So for me, anything that we can do to protect these children. I just got a case last week of that I'm hearing that he raped a 10-year-old, and right now the man is under detention, and I'm wondering, what would a 70-year-old man be doing with a 10-year-old? He's denying it, yes. And I remember again one argument I had amongst my family. I speak a lot about these things with in the family, in my immediate family, because I have 3 girls. I keep saying it, and I was so angry with our our law that talks about that the onus is on the person to prove that the person has been raped. And I'm like, why? Because most times raped people cannot even speak. Now a 10-year-old is saying, this man slept with me. What else can she say? Unfortunately, she has washed off. You cannot get the forensic evidence against the man. So how do we save these children from these predators? The issue is we need to talk to them at whatever time we can. Not it to surprise you that I watched a video. I took a training on pedophilia in one American school that is in Gaborone in Botswana, and they told us after a while we had to go through a trauma session because we were traumatized by what we heard. A little girl of 3 years conducting oral sex on a man. Now she's made to do it, and the person collects money from it. And these people, they book themselves to get these services. These people arrange these young children. They are pedophiles, so they go for it. That's what excites them. They love to have this with very little children. So at what age do we educate the children? We have to educate them as long as they can understand anything, they can speak, they can hear. We should talk to them. And I watched a video of a little girl conducting oral sex on a man because all she knows is that uncle said I should do this. She doesn't know that. She's not supposed to touch even that. But that is what she knows. And like she said, these children are mostly molested by people they trust. Uncles in the house. Even the young boys, it's the aunties that sometimes that teach them what sex is. They don't know. So it's important to let them know. I have a young boy that sometimes walks around naked in front of his, and sometimes I'm like, Sune, no, You're a boy now, you need to, because he's so innocent, he doesn't know anything. And when he's like running around naked from one room to another, like, do you think because you're in your house you can do this? He needs to understand. That's why I said I'm paranoid, because most of the time when I see these things, after that session in Gaborone, we had to go through our own self. They had to take us through, because everybody, after listening, because they were trained by the Americans, and there were recordings that they had tapped phone conversations of pedophiles, old men soliciting sex with young children, and somebody arranges that. So when do we tell them that? And most times the young girl does not know. In short, what broke some of us' heart was a mother was actually giving her own child for that, because she was on drugs, and all she was doing anything to get money, and she was giving her child out. So young children have to be told at what I don't know the time, as long as I know, when you know you cannot be around your child. Because for us growing up, mothers had time with children. Now mothers are not having time with children. So that time you're leaving the child, as long as this child can speak. And so when you come back home, try to ask your children, ask that child certain questions. There was a story of a little child that anytime the mother was leaving her, she would be crying. Why? Because anytime she left her with this uncle, he was molesting her, but she couldn't tell them, and she couldn't tell the mother. So we need to interrogate further. We need to talk to the children. Did uncle, when I left, did anything happen? Did you do this? That's why we said, tell them about their body. Which part of the body can someone touch? Which part is somebody not allowed to talk, even if it's the best uncle in the house? And I don't know whether it's sciences, but you can see that a young child growing up, sometimes is attached to one particular uncle, and the uncle is nice to her. And yes, sometimes it's a natural thing, but it's important that the girl should know that even though uncle is a very good guy, if it gets to this, don't allow this. In short, there are some children, young girls now, so that's why women have become paranoid, just like me, that they will even say, don't go near any uncle at all. But when we were growing up, your dad could bat you, but now a lot of people are beginning to wonder, should I allow the father bat a girl child at the age of, but my dad batted me till I was 9. But a lot has come up now that we need to let our daughters know that no, it gets to a stage that no, the father shouldn't bat you anymore, or the uncle in the house should not bat you, even if the father can, because some fathers have brought up their daughters even after maybe they lost their wives, and they brought up their daughters. So I'm not accusing them, but there are certain uncles that will be in the home, they are helping, they are very nice, because our African culture, you bring in a lot of people into your home, and these uncles are watching these young girls or young boys grow up. The aunties too is the same thing. And then the next thing is they're the same people that begin to put them through this. I have 12-year-old impregnated by a 40-year-old man, and she was attached to the man. When we arrested the man, when she was cancelled for some days, when the man was granted bail, when she left, she ran back to the man's house. The uncle came back again to tell us that this is what happened. We went to take her again away from that house. So she became attached. She was 12. She was already pregnant for this old man, for this 40-year-old man. And she was attached to him. As far as she's concerned, he was nice to her. But did what he did to her, was it right? It wasn't. I just had a case about 2 weeks ago of a 14-year-old trafficked to Burkina Faso, and she's telling me, sometimes I used to have 20 men in a day. Like 20 men? And she said it casually. She said, I kept walking. Like they would just be coming, and the woman would be collecting the money. And then at the time I started getting tired. So sometimes she would give me a drug, a capsule is like blue, and what color she called it, I can't remember. And then sometimes I feel my whole head will be high, and then I'll continue to walk until I felt sick. She walked about 4 months before she fell sick. 15-year-old. Now she actually knows that she's prostituting, that's happening to her, but does she even know the degree of the danger that what has happened to her? I don't think she knows. Because most times when we're talking to these girls, they don't even know how much evil the trafficker has done to them. Because if she knows how much evil the person has done, they will hate the person. But some of them are even some of them, they will call it Stockholm syndrome. Was even trying to do something nice to them. So sex education is very important, very, very important at all levels, Even because some girls were not properly educated about sex education. Some of them even go into molestation, go into sexual violence in homes when they get married, because they don't even know who they are, how to cherish themselves as women, how a man is supposed to treat them. So the man treats them anyhow, sexually violates them, but they don't even know their rights. So they cannot even take any decision. It takes time for most of them to realize that even the man I'm married has been sexually violating me. That's what is happening. So it's important that girls and boys should be empowered, given the right information regarding their sexuality and sex.
Okay, dear listener, in case you just tuned in, you've been listening to Perspectives on I Get Radio 95.5 Star FM Makurdi. We are focusing on the need for sex education for children to curb child molestation. By the way, Perspectives is an audience interactive program which at 10 o'clock you can call in to contribute on the program. The number for calls is 08143359292. 08143359292. That line will be available at 10 o'clock. The one for text messages and WhatsApp chats, which you can send a message to contribute or ask questions if you have them, is 09126 999 404. 09126 999 404. Remember to include your name and the location you are sending the message from. Let's also remind you that you can follow the live stream of this program on all our social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. You may also listen to us via our website on www.igetradiotv.com. You may drop your comments on any of the platforms if they're related to the subject matter we're focusing on. We will take it as your contribution. My guest here in the studio is the Zonal Commander, National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, Makurdi Zonal Command, Mrs. Gloria Bai, and also have a school teacher and counselor with Unique Secondary School, Makurdi, Ms. Grace Iorkumbur. They are leading us on the discussion. Ms. Iorkumbur, I am with you now. Have children become actually endangered in the hands of the public in terms of becoming sex predators?
Yes, they are, if that orientation is not given. Because just as we are saying, if they don't know, they don't know. So they need to know. Now, if you go out in the evenings, you get to see what is happening around us. You see a lot of young girls. I don't know where that orientation came from. At that stage, they feel they should get money. And how to get money, they feel it should just be them going about with men to look for money. But when I was growing up, it wasn't like that, because our mothers were there to caution, Now, we are feeling that we, the mothers, are not doing enough. Because if we are closer to the children than the fathers. And so if we are checking, as our mothers used to do before, then these things can be curtailed. If you go out in the night, you marvel at what is happening now. And it is within this age, this school age, the 13, 14, 15. At that time, they are supposed to be in schools. You see them around, hawking themselves. So we need to guide again. We need to teach them. Because that instills discipline in the children. If they want to go the other way, they will always remember, oh, mommy used to caution me on this, so I will not do it.
Okay, Mrs. Bai, how much endangered is the girl child in particular? Because oftentimes we hear of cases of trafficking. The girl child often is involved. How about the male child? Comparing the two.
When it comes to trafficking, when it comes to sexual exploitation, the girl child is more endangered. The male child is in trafficking. We see them more for labor exploitation, and maybe the new trend and that's coming up, which is organ harvesting. But when it comes to sexual exploitation, like I told you, I have gone to trainings abroad and all that, and most times what you see is the girls. In short, there are issues regarding. I was discussing with someone. I said that's what is called sex tourism, where some people, rich people, travel just to go and have sex with very little girls. Some of them actually will tell you they love them very young. Those are the pedophiles. That is what they do. It's a sickness, actually. It's not a normal thing. And they go around for those little girls. Like the man I have in my, there's somebody called me, I heard you have this man in yours. And then the man has been doing that. I said, but what is the community doing about it? I am not the court of law. I will just I'll arrest the man. I'll gather all the information I have and I'll take it to court. And it's the court that will determine whether he's guilty or not. Because sometimes people will say, this guy is in your custody. Make sure you don't. I can't incarcerate him. I'm only doing my own. I'll do the investigation and take you to court. But you said he's been doing this. You've been seeing young little children going into his house or his shop. And what did the community do regarding that? We have to be alert to certain things. The girl child is highly endangered. She just said it now. Go around Makurdi in the night. You see very little girls, like she said. Some of us finish secondary school at the age of 15. By 15, 14, 13 years, are prostituting themselves. Why? It's somehow, they don't even understand their body. They don't even understand that this what they are doing to themselves is going to have a long time problem for them. Some of them have contacted diseases. I'm sorry to say, there was a time I was speaking to someone, the person said, Benue State is in the news for very bad things, for bad news, and he's not comfortable about it. I said, then we have to do something to stop it. When it comes to HIV, Benue is high. Why will you not be high? You see these girls, they are having unprotected sex. They are ready to sell their bodies at the rate of 500 naira. Is it, to me, I used to say, is it really real? But it is real. 500 naira. Somebody will sleep with them and they move. I had a group of girls that were camped in high level in North Bank one time by someone. The guy is still in the prison. His case is still on, where he lures them, and then when those that are pregnant, he will sell. When they are due, he takes them to sell the babies, and then come back. So he was just keeping them there, incubation period when they are pregnant, and these girls have left home, and they are all below 18. And when I asked them, some of them met themselves in one hotel that they were paying 300 naira a night to stay, and someone comes to sleep with them, pays like 1,500 naira, like that. And these girls were all below 18. And I'm wondering they had left home. Recently some girls were about to be trafficked, and they were intercepted in Lagos. And when we were asking them questions, we noticed one was she had just turned 13 last December. And this girl already has been leaving home, sleeping out, going to clubs, all that at the age of 13. That means she was between 12 and 13. She had already started it. That not even before she was 11. Was even when the mother came, she was telling us she's doing everything. But recently the mother, even after she was rescued, she reunited, she still left home. The mother came to us again that can we help her to look for the girl. So a lot, morals have been eroded. No homes are broken. There's no proper upbringing anymore. Parents have relegated their duties back. That's why I said I thank you for bringing this up. I don't know if we are speaking, if the audience is we are getting to those people we want to talk to. Anytime I come here, I say I thank you for bringing me, because we need to talk to them. Benue State is ours. Unfortunately or fortunately, I'm working in my own state. So most times when people say I'm passionate about it, I said because I take them as my own children. This is my state. I wouldn't want to be saying this, but I'm seeing it right under my nose, and the cases are coming to me, and I'm wondering, how can we stop this? When it comes to rape, I had already spoken about it, and something is in the pipeline. That you see young girls at burial ceremonies. What are they doing there? It shows growing up. I didn't grow up I keep saying, not as if I grew up in a kinship. That is that I was so high up there in a moderate family. But I never went for a burial, wake up. I never did. It's my mother that used to go. What are young girls doing at wake up? And the rape cases we had, the girls confessed that the boy said, okay, let me buy you a drink. Then he took her and raped her. One that was a gang rape, let me buy you a drink. She didn't know what she was doing anymore. 3 of them gang raped her. Took her to a house and had her the whole night. Recently, this one said he just bought me a drink at the wake up, and then he took me towards the bush area and he started having sex with me. When I saw blood, I started crying, and he just carried me back and dropped me. 12-year-old. What are they doing? So are they not, by being in those areas, a lot we know happens at burial ceremonies. Alcohol is given, drugs are being taken, at wake-ups, and then these young children are there. Of course, they're susceptible to being raped or even being trafficked. And most of them have been trafficked like that from those places. Some have been raped. Those that came out to speak, or those that maybe the parents found something and found out that these girls have been violated, they report to us. But some don't even knows what happens. A lot happens. Go behind the curtains when this wake-up is going on, and you see a lot. And you're like, when are we going to curtail things like this? So I've been talking about it, and the government is looking towards it to see how we can. There are many measures that we have to put in place, because to say that they are endangered is an understatement. They are endangered. Many people have come to us. My little girl came back. I didn't like the way she was walking, and I asked her. She said, this man has raped me. What about those that have been taken into homes to work as house helps? That the man, all he does is that when the woman is not there, he'll call the girl into his room. So I keep saying it. Sometimes when I speak, I used to feel sometimes that I must tell you. Sometimes I feel that the men think that I'm so cruel to speak about them that way. But it's unfortunate that you can't trust your little girl with the man around her. So I keep wondering, what have they turned to? We had more dignity. Men had more dignity. Growing up, we were protected by the boys in our community. Up till now, where I grew up, they see me, I was called baby, they see me as one special child. Oh, sometimes they even say, oh, baby too has gotten married, has had children. Because none of them made passes at me. None. Rather, I was protected. If anybody's coming around, what are you looking for? What is it? Is this person disturbing you? But now, if you leave girl in a community, every young boy is praying around looking for how I can sleep with that girl. So to say that they're in danger in schools. Thank God we have a counselor here. NAPTI has, in the HQ, NAPTI has tried to train school counselors, which is something the Task Force on Human Trafficking in Benue State is working towards, having training for counselors, school counselors. Yes, school counselors played a very vital role, that she said, in bringing up children in schools. Because I remember also the little we knew about our body was by the most that we knew was by the school counselors, telling us about our bodies. When you have menstruation, what do you do, and all that. We knew some of these things were taught in schools, but later some schools don't even have a counselor. So it's something, I don't know that the Ministry of Education is going to do something regarding that, because that is very, very important in each school to have that unit, that the counseling unit should be enhanced, so that these children can go to them and speak with them. Some are molested by their own parents. So what do you do? Because this time now, it's not even somebody outside, it's the father. So most times, it's that school counselor that they speak to. And when we go out to schools, we tell them, try and speak out, break the silence, speak out. If something is happening to you, don't keep it to yourself. I went to a school, after talking to the school, the girls, sometimes, like I told you, I've had so much experience with these girls. You're talking to them, and then I'm talking to them in a class. They're all girls. And then after a while, I've been able to break them, but they can't speak. You see that their faces drop. They're beginning to feel that actually what has been happening to me is wrong. At first, they didn't know it was wrong. It's when you begin to counsel them, to speak to them, that they know that actually this is not right. What happened to me was not right. And I remember one incident that after like a week or so, a girl now went to the principal and reported that she was raped by a boy that came to the house that morning before she even went to school. She was even on her period. So one thing is, I keep saying, we as counselors, NAPTIP, I've been trained as a counselor too. NAPTIP will tell you it is never late for you to speak out, because you can get help. So even if it happens to you that you were raped, that's what sex education also teaches. You should speak about it so that you can get help. Don't try to conceal it, because it will keep hurting you until you speak about it. If sometimes the person does not take precaution, because I don't think the person raping is having time to use condom. So most times these girls need to be told that they need to speak out, because sometimes they can contact diseases, STDs, or even HIV. So they need to know that if someone has sex with you without protection, you could have contact diseases. So those are the things that sex education gives the child. It gives them a lot, it empowers them to know more. And even if it happens, like she said, she talked to them they were asking how, at what time can we have sex? I cannot say at what time we can have sex. You can only have sex when it's right. And the right time is when you have the right person and you're getting married. Because most times, it's not something you say, this is the right time, but I think that is it. So you cannot tell me that, you can't start telling them at this time, because the right person knows the right thing to do. But if it's with the wrong person, it's wrong, even at an older age. It's wrong. So it's only when it's the right time and with the right person. Now, if they are to have sex, what are they to do? Should they protect themselves? And if they see any sign, even telling them signs of STD, because some of them will start having discharges and they don't know. Now, infections, I'm not a medical person, but infection in a woman does not manifest that easy. It might have grown so much before you begin to see the signs. So how do you teach them how to take care of themselves? So if from sex education, when people do, the myth is that, I would say is a myth. They made it look like if you say these things, it's abomination, you can't talk about it. And even some mothers that grew up in that kind of orientation cannot even speak to their children about it. I must say that it's my job as NAPTIP that has brought me out to talk about these things without being shy. I couldn't talk about it too. So it's the training I've gotten that has made me open to talking about it. So even some mothers cannot talk about it. Because I'm sure the father will be asking, are you telling my daughter about sex? Even the word sex, sometimes to call it is very difficult for some people. So how are you going to tell the child that, see, my daughter, this is what sex is this. And at this point in your life, you're not supposed to do this and this and this. Because sex is something between a man and a woman. And this thing, your body, your breast, if somebody touches you, you're going to have some kind of feelings. And this part of your body, nobody's supposed to touch it. Because when you touch it, you can have such feelings. And it might lead you to this. When are we going to tell our girls that? Because even to talk about it with ourselves as women, I'm a woman. I'm telling you, some women can't talk about it. Because they have grown with that orientation that you don't talk about it. It's a myth. It's something that even it happens between you and your husband in your room, and when it comes, it finishes, you cover it. It's not something you talk about it. Religion has made us think that if you think or talk about it, maybe you're vulgar or something.
Or you're being ungodly.
Ungodly. So a lot of women, that's why I said the women themselves need to understand. Even some parents, but men, have come out to talk to their children that I'm a man. And I'm telling you, a man can do this to you. So when we talk about sex education, we're not saying it's only the women that should tell their children. The men too should. That's why I remember a friend that told me, she told her husband, you have to tell this boy about growing up as a man. When he wakes up in the morning and he has this kind of feeling, what does he do with it? And if we are teaching the boys about how to treat a woman through this sex education, then we know that raping a woman, it's not it. Doesn't make you a man. Then we know that when you need to have sex, you don't have to go and take drugs and rape a girl. Now, like I said, when we don't teach them, another person teaches them. Now, what happens to boys that are growing up, puberty? When they start having those signs, they don't know how to manage it. Sometimes it's their friends that tell them. When they are shy about it, their friends will tell them, just take this drug. It will help you to do it without being shy. And that's how some of them start drugs. Because they want to be men. They want to sleep with a woman. They don't have the courage to talk to a woman. And a boy can even go ahead to rape because the friends have told him, if you take this drug, you have the courage. When she comes to us, force her. Force her. Because sometimes they talk about it. The girl came and I couldn't talk to her. I couldn't do this. It's like, you're not a man now. Now, the father has not told him how to treat a woman. The father has not told him that, yes, you're going to have these feelings, but you need to be matured enough to know how to treat a woman and how to have sex with a woman. So all he knows is what his friends are telling him. So if we don't tell them, somebody will tell them the bad way of doing it.
Okay. Ms. Iorkumbur, just before we opened telephone lines, listening to your co-discussant on the program, where is a place of the school, even teachers in schools, in educating the children, both boys and girls, about sex education, giving them sex education?
Now, in the schools, we have certain topics that opens up such discussions. We have a topic on sexuality, and then we have a topic on marriage. At JSS 3, the children are taught about this. Now, they are guided in a way that any kind of relationship they are going to have, it shouldn't be without the consent of their parents. You understand? Now, if, for instance, we are friends, my parents should know you as my friend. They are taught courtship, they are guided. That is preparing them for the future. In the future, they'll come back to that. So when they, as they age and they begin to attain that age, now what they were taught in school will come back to their brain, because that orientation was given to them at that tender age. So as they grow and get into it, they continue to learn. Now the children come up from puberty down to adolescence. By the time they are graduating from the secondary school, they are already, some are 16, some are 17, and thereabout, within that age. Now, at that period, you'll see that they are very inquisitive. They want to know certain things. And so if the parents or the teachers fail to guide them, they will learn from their peer group. And that peer influence, if you want to push it out of them, it becomes a problem. So you don't allow the peer influence to take over them. You see most of them joining courtism because that orientation was not given. You see so much of teenage pregnancy, just as Mrs. Bai was saying. A lot happens. These are the challenges they face. So we, as the school, it is our duty to enlighten the children, because they are going to school to be enlightened. So it is our duty to always enlighten them on certain things that will help them mold their future life. So we have this as topics that are treated in the classroom.
Okay. Well, it's about time now for us to engage with those listening to us. And if you just tuned in, you're listening to Perspectives on iGate Radio 95.5 Star FM Makurdi. We are discussing the need for sex education for children to curb child molestation. And you can contribute on the program by reaching us on 081-433-59292. 081-433-59292. Once you connect with us, tell us your name and where you're calling from. Then go ahead and make your submission. Please keep it very brief. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Welcome to Perspectives.
Yes, I'm
Thank you, Kwaza Vincent. You sound so faint. Are you in traffic? Hello, Kwaza Vincent.
Hello?
Yes, Kwaza Vincent.
Yes.
You are on. Speak to us.
Yes, I greet the guests in the studio. Yes, the need for sex education is very important, not just for a girl child, but all the children, even the male child, because most parents don't want to teach their children about sex education, because when you mention sex education, it sounds as if you're spoiling the child, but it's very, very important. There is one thing that happened. A mother taught a child that if you go to in the public and a male touches you, you get pregnant. So the child went out. When the female child came back, the child was crying. When the mother asked, he said, "You said when a male touches me, I'll get pregnant. So once somebody touched me." So they are not aware. So when you're teaching a child about sex education, teach them the way they will understand. Don't just teach them outside like that. Even in schools, when you want to teach a child about sex education, some people look at it that you want to spoil those children. But it's very, very important. If you don't teach them about sex education, they will not understand. They will not understand what is involved. So sex education is very, very important for not just for a female child, but all the children that's involved. So we should rise up to teach our children about sex education so that they will understand, and the issue of rape or all these other things will be minimized. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution, Kwaza. Thank you. And of course, our focus is also beyond just the girl child. Our discussants are taking the subject across board, both for the male and the girl child. Hello, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Good morning to you. Welcome to the program.
Yes, I think the guest in the studio.
Yes, my guests are greeting you.
My name is Underway Danum from beside the Iorkumbur market.
Okay, thank you, Underway Danum. Iorkumbur market in Makurdi,
Yes.
right?
Yes, in Makurdi.
Okay.
I just want to, mine is just a question. Can a group of girls rape a man? That's a question.
Okay, could that be all?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Underway Danum. We will respond to your question. Thank you. Okay, Mrs. Bai, maybe before we engage further, speak about that question very briefly.
I think that is beyond me. I've not heard that a woman has raped a man. I've not come across it in the course of my job. So I think that is beyond me. I think it's a man that will speak better on that. I don't know possibility of a woman raping a man. So I think the men will speak better on that. I don't speak where I don't have competences at all, because I don't know. I don't know how biologically, I don't even know how that's going to happen.
Is there something you would like to chip in on that question?
Based on rape is when you do it when somebody is not willing. So it's possible that maybe a woman too will try that on a man.
When it comes to what we might relate to that is that, like I said, some young children have been taken advantage by older women, older girls. Like maybe even at that age of them being young, the young girl might take advantage of a small boy and make the boy do what he doesn't even know he's doing. Because I've heard some boys tell me that my first time was with an older person. So to me, that is taking advantage of the person. So it could be rape. It could be rape. It might not be violent rape, but it could be rape, because the person, like in NAPTI, we talk about consent. For a child below 18, consent is not admissible. Their person does not even know what is good for them, doesn't know the wrongs, the right or wrong. So the person has and that at that age, the person cannot consent to sex. So if you had sex with the person, it was not, if you said the person wanted it or agreed to it, the person did not know, could not take a decision at that age. Yes. Still a child. So a child is a child. Okay. So consent is not admissible.
So on the way, I think we have responded to your question. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you. Welcome to Perspectives.
This is Benziko. I'm calling from Api.
Benziko, can they tell us your real name? I should suppose Benziko is a nickname. Tahaf who?
Tahaf Akbai.
Okay, thank you, Tahaf Akbai, from Api
Yes.
settlement in Makurdi, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead, Tahav.
You see, there is need for us parents to educate our children about sex education. Like myself, when I was growing up, I was told by my father the consequences of being a girl. It is either you are distracted from your studies or unwanted pregnant. When you impregnate a girl, you either marry her or what have you. For me, my father told me that if I impregnate a girl, it will be the end of my study. Let me tell you one thing. I had 4 daughters. I keep on advancing them through their mother. That it is not good to move with men. They should be very careful about men. In fact, the madam in the studio had already told us, for those who have ears, let them hear. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Tahav. Thank you for your contribution. And anyway, like the discussants back in the studio have clearly established, it's not just about mothers alone. The fathers too, they have a role. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Nathaniel.
Morning to you.
My regards to all the guests in the studio.
Good morning.
I am Uba Dominic from Goma local government.
Thank you, Uba. Which part of Goma are you reaching us from?
In Tulen, Gesha, Tulen.
Okay, thank you so much. How is Tulen this morning?
Very fine and cool.
Okay, thank you. Please go ahead, Uba Dominic.
Sex education is very important to give a child, especially girl child, because without giving them the necessary advice regarding sexually, they can be easily molested sexually. That should not stop with parents giving their girl child sex education. The school, starting from primary school, let them teach sex education and the implication of premarital sex, and let them employ school counselors to counsel these girls, not only girl child but boys also, for the implication of sex. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Uba Dominic. Thank you for your contribution. And the role of counselors, like you were emphasizing again, has been re-emphasized by Uba Dominic in his contribution. We appreciate you, Uba. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning to you. Welcome to Perspectives.
Thank you very much. My name is Oradwan Amos, calling from the data here in Makurdi.
Thank you, Oradwan, for joining us on the program.
All right. My regards to Mrs. Bai in the studio.
Good morning, Nathaniel. Thank
you. Sex education is very, very important in our children for the opposite sex. As I was following Mrs. Bai Kelly, she talked about unprotected sex. I was like, protected sex, unprotected sex. How can sex be protected? We are, because of the rubber people popularly call condoms, or how will sex be protected? Again, religious leaders not educating people because of certain dogma. If I say this thing is against the religion. Finally, sir, when you're talking about sex education, masturbation cannot be left out. So I want Mrs. Bai to throw more light. Protected sex. Is it people should engage in masturbation, or how would they protect it, or how would the children be enlightened, especially the male child, about masturbation? Because a popular pastor was interviewed in a particular TV in Ghana, and he said masturbation is not bad, it's just a kind of a policy that you want to engage in. So please, how will she react about masturbation precisely? Thank you very much, Matt.
Okay, thank you, Oradwan. I think you got her context wrong, but I will allow her to speak for herself.
All right, sir. All right, sir.
Thank you very much for your contribution and your questions.
No,
okay,
I don't think what he's saying is, I totally understand him. What he's trying to say, because of the lot of religious dogma, many people don't talk about protected sex.
Yes.
So, because it might be not allowed I'm a Catholic, and the use of condom is not preached in my own
Your faith, yes.
So it is something that now I'm only looking at the fact that at the end, if at the event that this person has gone, like I said, some of them have been, like when you are raping a person, I don't think you use protection. So at that time, what is the girl supposed to do? Because what I am saying is, if it happens, what do? You have to try that it shouldn't happen. Because there are certain girls that have had pregnancies, and because they are so scared of talking about or telling their parents, they went the way of abortion through a wrong means, and they lost their lives. Some lost their wombs. So when you are telling children about sex, tell them everything. Tell them everything, so that they know what to use at what, because you will not be there when it's going to happen. And when he talks about masturbation, I don't, like I said, that's another place that I'm not competent to talk about.
And it's well outside our...
And then it is also part of sex education for the father to tell the son what he will be experiencing when he's growing up and how to manage it. So it's within them. I'm not a man, I don't even know what masturbation is.
Okay, so Oradwen, thank you for your contribution and the questions. We have spoken to them, and that subject is outside our focus. So let's not get to dwell so much attention on it. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning to you. Welcome to Perspectives.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. You are on. Speak to us.
Yes. Gideon Tehimba calling from Low Level.
Thank you, Gideon Tehimba.
Hello, can you hear me?
Gideon, speak to us. You are calling from Low. Hello, Gideon. You are on. Speak to us. Okay, Gideon, you were on, but it does appear your network was not too good. Therefore, you assumed you were not on. If you may, the line is still open. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Welcome to Perspectives.
Yes, my name is Jude Upebe. I'm calling from Bakumegwe.
Good to have you on the program, Jude.
Thank you, Nathan. Good morning, my beautiful mommies.
Good morning, Jude.
Thank you.
Jude, okay, are you following the live stream? How did you know they are beautiful? That's by the way. Go ahead, Jude.
We take the compliment. Thank you.
Actually, they are all beautiful women.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
You have spoken a lot. I agree with you to some extent. But I think this issue boils down to the family level. Most scholars have talked about sexualization and sex education to the family. It's very, very important. Now, I want to hit on the law. You know, ignorance of a law is not an excuse. When you are into sex abuses, maybe luring little girls to some foreign countries for sex, maybe taking them as sex machines for you to be exploiting money from them, is a crime. So the law should take care of those people. Perpetrators should be punished. Victims should speak out. You cannot just hide and somebody is taking advantage of you, exploiting you, maybe making monetary gains from you, and you are there alone, keeping quiet. Victims should speak out. The law should take care of perpetrators. They should be punished. Sometimes judiciary, sometimes I blame the judiciary, because some of these rape cases or sex abuse cases are in the court. They are lying there. Nothing is happening to them. So justice delayed, justice denied. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you, Jude. Thank you very much for your contribution. Okay, let's take a few messages before we come back. Okay, but before those messages, calls are still waiting on the line here, so let's engage with them. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. This seems like our first female caller.
Okay, I'm Juliet. You're calling from Manchester, Media Village.
Okay, Juliet who?
Juliet, yo.
Okay, Juliet, yo. Good to have you join us on the program.
Yes, welcome. Sorry, I'm happy to join the program. Why? Because I'm a mother too. And just as our guests are speaking, most of the problem comes from us, the parents, especially we, the mothers, because we don't have time to guide our girls, children, including the boys. And the issue now we are having here that is happening everywhere is divorce, it's marriage, breaking marriage. When we break, when our marriages is break, you will see another partner, either the husband taking the children, at times the wife taking the children, staying with them. And most of the things we do when we are alone without the husband, the children copy from us. And at times the husband will take the kids, stay with them. And you know, men too cannot stay like that. A woman has to come in. The woman will be playing the love in front of the children, which they are not there. They are not the women, they are not their mothers. They are not mothers to their children, those kids. So it makes children to copy a lot. Because this incident I have, this man they drive the wife out, was following this woman. The woman will come playing love at the parlor, at the sitting room with this man. And one day, a little boy in the house, his son, the children were staying with him, started doing the same with the girl, with his sister. When the mother noticed, when the mother came in and visited them, when she asked, the boy told him that the father used to do it, the girlfriend. Hello?
We are with you, Juliet.
Yes. That the father used to do with the girlfriend. So that is where he learned that. And there is another one. This woman was not with the husband was not with the wife. And there is this woman that he was seeing out. So anytime he goes here, the child of that woman, which is a boy, will come see the man's girl. Before you know, the girl was pregnant for the boys, for the woman from the other woman's child. She was carrying the child. So the thing was, it was confusing. So if we say we sit on the radio and talk about it, we should go to schools to tell our children, because for me, I do allow my children to watch any film that they want to watch in the house, because when we finish watching and analyze it, I tell them, you see the bad side of the film, you see what, if you do this, you see what you will face in future. This is the boys will tarnish your future, and they will move on with their lives. So we mothers, we should not be ashamed to tell our girls children what is wrong or what is bad. Because in future they want see it and they want to do it. Whether you are there, whether you are not there, they would do it. So it's not time to educate them. You were asking at what level should they start telling them about sex. As long as they know how to talk, they know what is bad and good. At the age of 3, 4, it's okay. You tell them, so that's what will be ringing in their head all the time. When that mistake tries to occur, they will know that no, my mama used to tell me that you're not supposed to touch part of your body like this, you're not supposed to touch here and here. And for we parents allowing uncles to come in the house, especially when we are married and from the husband side they are there, from your wife side they are there, it's problem, because you don't know who teaches your son or your daughter what is bad or good, because at times you may travel. The auntie you keep in the house will be the one to advise your child to go out in the night. Because when we go on the streets, we see 14, 13 like that. They are there. And so we shouldn't be ashamed of ourselves to advise our children on what to do and what not to do, because whether we teach them or whether we don't teach them, they will learn it out there.
Okay.
Why? We give them big phones. So they learn everything on those phones. You don't need to tell them anything. They learn it there. So it's that time we come out. Sex is not something that we should be hiding.
All right.
Let us voice it out for them to learn it, to know it from our home before out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to join the program.
Thank you very much for your contribution, Julia. We appreciate you. Let's take some few messages before we come back. We'll begin from our live stream link of Facebook. This one says, hello, presenter. I am Nieka Theophilus from High Level, Makurdi. Yes, I appreciate your program. Sex education is very important to a child. Yes, coming up as a child, you don't know when and where to come close to a man. But our young girls now start sex at the age of 13 and 14, thereabouts. So there is every need to educate them from contaminating, unwanted, contracting, I think that's what should be there, contracting unwanted diseases. Thank you for the program. I remain Theophilus. Okay, Theophilus, thank you very much for your contribution, your comment on that live stream link. This one here says, back in our regular SMS box, this one says, I heard your guests talk consistently about uncles violating children. Are these uncles in Nigerian context or real blood relations? 2, why are these violators on the rise today? Richard Chia from Makurdi. Okay, Richard, thank you very much. We'll respond to your question. Another one here says, I am Monday Bernard. My contribution is that any man who indulged in sexual abuse should never go scot-free. Okay, thank you very much, Monday, for your message. We appreciate you. Some more in our WhatsApp box, but I'll come back to them shortly. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. Welcome to Perspectives.
How are you?
I am fine, thank you.
My name is Christopher Liamandu.
Your name is who?
Christopher Liamandu.
Okay, Christopher Liamandu.
I am calling from Gumbachere.
Okay, Mbachere, you are calling from where?
Gumbachere in Boko government, in the State.
Okay, Mbachere, please go ahead here, Christopher. Hello, Christopher. Oh, quite unfortunate. Christopher, we were really interested to hear from you all the way from Bacherevan. Unfortunately, you dropped the line. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Morning, you are on. Speak to us.
Yeah, Gideon Temba calling you from low level, behind Rancon's International low level.
Okay, Gideon Temba, you are back online again. I think you called earlier, I suppose.
Yes. I want to appreciate my mommies in the house.
Thank you, Gideon. Thank you.
Yes, I want to stress on what you earlier stated, like the father educated or the parents educating their children. One, you have to treat it from the aspect of seductive words. You know, the way you dress and appear, it interprets a message. The eye see, the mind beats, and then the brain interprets. Anytime a lady dress so seductive or immoral, a man is usually having this urge on having sex with her, whether loving her or not loving her. And then at some point, that leads us to the drugs we see the boys usually take. Some may not have the courage to have that lady, so they will have to be built under a particular influence to make them gaze at her. That is one. Secondly, if you are loving your children, let's assume you as the mom, you are indoors sleeping at night, your daughter or your son is walking out in the midnight or at night. It's unfair because as they are outside, they are so loose, they are tempted to do certain things. So I would like you, the mothers, most especially, to guide us, to guide both the boys and the girls, and from the girls, most especially, the way your daughter dresses in the house and live. Make sure you educate her so seriously, because a man may take advantage of her because of what he's seen from her and not what he feels for her. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Gideon. Thank you very much for your contribution. Okay, Mrs. Bai, let me come back to you and let's respond to this question by Richard Chia, who is wondering that he heard your guests talk consistently about uncles violating children. Are these uncles in the Nigerian context? Or real blood relations? And he said, why are these violations on the rise today?
Okay, thank you very much. I think that after I answer that question, I would still like our counselor here to also speak, because I'm sure she might have gotten reports from the girls. Now, even growing up, you see cousins living together, and sometimes the older cousins did it. If these girls, some of them will tell you how they lost their virginity, they will tell you it was from a cousin. A lot happens, and you know, this, they see themselves loving, no natural, there is this natural love between the family, that is the children loving themselves. But they don't know that they are not supposed to go beyond that natural love of relations. So there are, to answer his question, you have biological uncles that do it, and you also have the so-called uncle in quote, because sometimes you have, we have long extended family issues where you have somebody, brother to this brother, that in the house. It happens. Even happens to biological uncles. So and even aunties. We like in this particular topic, sex education, we have to know that we are talking about both male and female.
Absolutely.
You see, you bring your sister from the village to bring up your children. You'll be surprised that auntie is the one teaching your son how to, when he sees erection, she tries to play with him. She does that. You will be surprised. You'll be surprised. I keep saying, if you put a camera home, what you will see, you'll be amazed. So we have to understand that it is true, it's happening. It happens among cousins. The senior cousin will do it to the junior cousin. Because when, like I said, if we need to let these children know that sex is good, but to what extent is it good? And when are you supposed to have it? And with who are you supposed to have it? So when it's said, like we said, we all are product of a situation that somebody meeting someone before you can procreation.
Yes.
Yes. So they need to know. That's like somebody said, if you go out and you touch somebody, the mother must. Those are the stories they used to tell us. Don't go near a man, but they didn't tell you that the man has something he will do to you that will end up making you pregnant. Do you understand? Because our mothers were conservative with those words. They could not say it out because of the nature. Now, why is it more now? First is that, again, I keep talking about enlightenment and reportage. Some people ask us, why is it that trafficking now is more? And we tell you that there are more people aware. I don't have the statistics, but I will say that if it was happening before, it was not reported. And there was no much awareness. So when you create awareness about certain things, you see more people speaking about it, you see more people reporting that happened. Now, let's come to little girl being violated. My instinct tells me, even though I don't have the proof, that's why I say my instinct tells me. Those days, if a girl is raped, the mother will cover her. She won't talk about it. It's a shame to the family. So, can we now say that rape was not happening? It was happening. But now, people are more enlightened and informed and empowered to speak about it. So, even a girl can come out and tell you, yes, he raped me. But before, you shut up your mouth. Who are you to say you are raped? First of all, what took you to the boy's house? And these excuses of dressing, people say, why did you dress that way? So when you start saying that the blame is on you, all you need to do is shut up. But a lot of enlightenment has been out. People are telling people to speak out, because even when I was speaking, I said, I went to a school, I told them, even if it's happening to you, stop it. That uncle in the house that is violating you, stop it. Tell him it's done and report him. Tell him I'm tired. I wasn't on break at the family. The girl said her father kept on sleeping with her. So somebody's asking about uncle. What about your father? I heard it on break at the family that he kept on and on and on. And some people will blame her. Why didn't you report? Now, in certain situations, this is psychology. That person uses psychology on you. Even we'll talk about Stockholm syndrome. Some of them make you feel that they are doing something nice to you, and they are very nice to you, so you should pay back. An uncle can be very nice to this, and I like I said, remember when I said that very good uncle?
Yes.
I love Uncle this. When a girl starts doing this is my own opinion. When a girl starts being so, uncle, this is so nice, uncle, this is so nice. Mommy, be careful. Watch that child and that uncle. Because he's very overtly nice to her, and he could be demanding something from her. But she doesn't know that she's supposed to tell him no. Because uncle is very nice. When he comes by, he buys ice creams for me. He buys this for me. He buys gifts for me. And then when he tells her, come and lie on me, she's very free lying on him. Touch me this way. She's touching it. The next thing ends up to real sex. The next thing, some will get pregnant. The uncle will abort it. So it happens.
Okay.
It's not something we should deny. The only way we can help is to educate them.
So, Richard, I hope I will come to you, Ms. Iorkumbur, shortly, so that you also lend your voice to that question. But let's engage you more. Hello, good morning.
Yes, hello. My name is Ibudu Tenenge. I'm calling from Makurdi, the other village to be precise.
Okay, Ibudu Tenenge, thank you for joining us.
Yes, my own take on this is actually our system of culture did not warrant us teaching our children or our words the right thing we're supposed to tell them. I've had a case where, sorry, I'm a medical practitioner,
okay,
where a lady confided in me that her auntie told her that if she did not have sex before 20, she will not be able to give birth. So the auntie had to arrange with an Okada man that she was collecting tip from to be sleeping with this girl. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're with you, Tenenge.
Yes, so misinformation. And most of the parents, they bully their partners, and the child looks at it like it's a normal thing. Okay, if the child is seeing his dad molesting his mother, the child thinks it's the right thing. And it's so unfortunate that some of the ladies now, their mother expects them to go out and bring something. How would you ask a girl of 17 years, let me say it in Hello?
Yes, Tenenge, speak to us. You are on. We're interested.
Yes, you are telling a child of 18 years or 17 years, if you are coming back, come with something. What are you telling that child to go and do? So I want to encourage the NAPTIP to go more into secondary schools, because primary school, secondary school, this is where we'll catch them young. We'll tell them the real thing. And again, I've had a case where a guy told me that it was his father's last wife that molested him. The man married the younger wife. He tells the wife, will tell the dad, leave me and this one, I will be sending him at home. When everybody goes to the farm, she will catch this young boy at the age of 11. She was molesting this guy. So we should be careful, and we should try our possible best to educate our younger ones. That is my take on this. And I don't know if I can speak a little about masturbation that somebody said.
Perfect.
Out of the context.
Perfect. Go on.
Let me educate the person.
Correct. Good.
Yeah, masturbation is not done by only the male. Even the female to masturbate. That is what I want our guest listeners to also know. Female to masturbate. And again, it has a negative effect on the body. Psychologically, masturbation has a negative impact, because you are forcing your body to do what it is not traditionally his. So even at the point when you marry, that thing that you are addicted to will keep coming on and on and on you. So you see in the male complaint of, okay, I can no longer perform over the time I'm supposed to perform, because most of them they are masturbating. And when you are masturbating, you are trying to rush up so that people should not see you doing it, and over a time this now affects you negatively.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Tenenge, for sharing those insights with us. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, Ms. Iorkumbur, let me come back to you. Still on this question by Chia, the second aspect of it. He said, why are these violations on the rise? That is molesting of children. Are there factors from your point of view as a counselor that you think are responsible for the rise of violation while molesting children?
Yeah, they're on the rise now, because if you look at what we have been discussing from the beginning, the orientation is not being given as it used to. That is how we are faulting it. Now, in the future, in the previous future, the mothers were always there to educate us. When you dress and you are coming out, your mother checks what you are putting on. And if it is not right, she will say, go back inside and change. Now, if you look at how our girls are dressing now, you agree with me that we are not checking those things. Because if my daughter is dressed and is going out, I should know what she's putting on, and I should question if it is not correct, because we have norms of the society. Now, it is again on the rise because of bringing in people to help. Because I remember my mother raised us 7 alone without a helper. Now we bring in people to help us, and we don't check their activities. These people come in, our own children are so naive, very small. They are bigger. Some, they come from the village where they have learned these cruel things. They come to teach them what we are not teaching them, So those factors are the ones bringing that up. Now, I will share an experience with you. There's a girl that confided in me, not my student anyway.
Okay.
Outside my school work, she confided in me that she was molested. Her virginity was taken by her uncle. And so the girl, because of the level, she couldn't control it. Even when the uncle was no longer with them, she continued. Now she's a dropout. And she came to me and said, Auntie, I always see you, I love your conduct, and I want to talk to you about something. I said, okay, go ahead. And so that was when she opened up to me that this is her situation. I don't know about her now because she's no longer here. But I gave her my word and I counseled her. So these are the things that are going on. That they are with us. They are not things we can hide anymore. They are with us. They are happening within the home. And now in my village, there's something that used to happen then. They used to tell us as children, if you sleep with your brother, they'll go and burn the two of you in the house, in one house like that. Both of you will be burnt inside before that thing can be broken. So we grew up, with that fear that if I, allow my brother, that kind of
engage in an incestuous relationship,
yes,
kind of.
There will be a problem. Now, psychologically, you see that the children, the female children, are so attached to their fathers, and the boys attached to their mother. The thing is psychological. Now, that attachment now, when the uncles are with the girls in the house, because of their attachment to their fathers, they also attach to the uncles. So you have to check what is happening, because it will go beyond just being attached like that.
Okay. Hello, good morning. Oh, we lost connection with the caller. All right, the line is still open. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome to the program.
Yes, my name is Peter Ode. I'm calling from high level of the Makurdi here.
All right, Peter Ode, thank you for joining us.
It's okay. I want to sincerely thank your guests in the house and you, the host.
Thank you, Peter.
And my own is question, the guests in the house.
Yes, we are listening to you.
The days, there is nothing like sex education. And the issue of raping is not rampant as this. What is going on? Does the sex education not do us harm than good? I'm not saying that there is not, there are, but it's not rampant as this. Is it because now that the sex education is available that is teaching people that raping, whether the mother, the father, the uncle, and the rest? Because once you are born to this world, there must be a feeling. That feeling is already in you. No, but you need to be told before you know. Doesn't mean that our father, they don't have the blood that running through their vein, why is it that now that the sex education is coming up, that issue of raping is everywhere? I just want to ask that question and to give to the house, give to the NAPTIC office to do the research and tell us exactly what is going on, what is happening. That is my question. That is my question.
Okay, thank you, Peter.
And I thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right, Mrs. Bai.
Okay, let me start by saying that sex education is an activity of offering knowledge about sex and sexuality. So, if we say it's, we had in our own way, our parents gave us sex education in their own way.
Yes.
Now, the world is getting more enlightened. Now we're looking at more about sex education. Like she said, those days will make you, the way they taught us was different. Even this issue of don't go near a man, you just get pregnant. That was their own way of telling us about it. So it is to say whether it's yielding results or it's not, because he's complaining that there's still a lot about rape. There are many factors that are making the issue of rape more rampant. Drug use, lack of education, lack of parenting. Like I said, a boy involved in drugs can be a rapist. Now, if you are not teaching these children about, and the lack of knowledge, you don't teaching these children about sex or what to do when they have a feeling. You know, like I said before, a man, a young boy growing up, the first thing he sees again, is it just about the sex going between her legs? It's not supposed to be. But if he's under the influence or peer group pressure, that, you know, that I don't know, the men will speak more about it, but I heard some men telling me that it was as if they were not normal because they had not had sex. Because there's this peer group pressure, there's this thing that will make you like, you've reached this age, you've not had a woman before. And the man is now like, I have to try it, if not, among my peers, I can't talk about it. So the peer group pressure is there, drug abuse is there, and lack of parenting is there. It's making it more. Lack of education, lack of employment. When that employment goes towards up to the parents that they can't have a livelihood. Like somebody just said, a girl is going out and the mother asks her, what are you, make sure you bring something back. Now, I don't know that this is the new world. And it's because many of them cannot look after their, and then apart from that, I was in a forum and I told women we need to look into ourselves. Women, you are more busy trying to look good than even thinking about your daughter in the house. I told them we need to start looking within ourselves. Because your daughter is bringing things in the house, you don't even ask. When you wake up, you're thinking of your eyelashes and your long wig, and you're looking at, you're even competing with your daughter about who will be admired more outside. And you forget to tell her that, okay, I am now a grown-up woman, but you are still a child. Or you need to do this, do this. So parenting has been eroded to the background. That's one thing. Drug abuse is on the increase. Peer group pressure, because a lot of children have been dropped out of school. If it's because there's no free education, I don't know. But that is another topic. Why are these children out of school? Out of school children is high. And we can see cultism coming up a lot. We know what's happening in Makurdi. Cultism is on the rise. The other day we heard how they were a rival gang had shootings in North Bank. It's happening under our nose and we're looking at it. I had a case of a girl that was lured out of her home by this cult boy, and he took her, kept her in a place. He would come give her, she told me that she used to give her a drink to take, and when she takes, sometimes she will not know what, he will use her, go out, come back, just give her, buy a plate of food and give her. The parents were looking for her until we found her. And even after using her, he had made signs to his friends and told him that he is done with the girl if they want to still have the girl. That is how bad it is. But the way he is a cult boy. So cultism is on the rise. So these issues of rape is on the rise because of these vices. We have them had a cult boy or whatever he called himself that raped a girl, and even when we arrested him, we had him in our custody. The cult boys came threatening that who is not tip to arrest this boy, you know. So sometimes we even get threats from them, and you know, sometimes we even like, didn't the girl want it? So you see, when I listen to young boys speaking these days, I'm shocked, because I also grew up. My brothers in the community, there's no way these boys spoke the way these boys speak. They speak carelessly. They talk about girls the way they want to. A girl was gang raped, and how were they fished out? They came back and they were talking about how they enjoyed the girl the previous night. So they were not even ashamed of it. But that's why I said I wish there was a man here. We engage. Even then, if you had sex with a girl, will you go talking about it? But these boys are proudly talking about it. They rape a girl and they're happy that they raped the girl, because there's nothing to do. But the issue is that, like somebody said, the law should be able to come upon these people and deter them. And we are calling on also the judiciary that if a girl has said, even though the law will tell you it's better to set, is it 1,000 guilty people free than to imprison, incarcerate one innocent person. So it is more of the person. You are the one that should prove that you were not the person. So the person will just say, I didn't do it. And so how are you going to prove that? Because one of the frustrations we have regards to rape cases in court. So the judiciary has to look at that, because if there are more people that are prosecuted and jailed, maybe, because these boys sometimes they talk about it as if nothing's going to happen to them.
Okay. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, thank you for holding on. You are our last caller. We have barely sometimes, so we give you 1 minute, if you may.
Okay. Hinga Martina, calling from Nedbank.
Okay, Hinga Martina, thank you for joining us on the program.
Okay. We really want to look at here is boils out to the parents also. They have to play a crucial role in the upbringing of the child, because the time the child stays at home is even more than the time he or she stays in school. Make your child your best friend at home, and you see that some of those things the child is scared of doing them, because the mom or the dad is always telling him or her what to do. I'm saying this out of experience, because if you ask me even now that who is your best friend, I'll tell you my mom, because of the role she played. That is just a little thing I want to say.
Okay, thank you very much, Hinga Martina. We appreciate your contribution.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right. And this is that's our last call. We will gradually try to conclude now. Ms. Iorkumbur, in terms of getting the children to have confidence in sharing whatever experience they may have gone through in the hands of others with their parents, confidence building, walk us through some tips that will be helpful.
Now,
and also the signs parents should watch out for in their words.
I want to be emphatic on the mothers, because they should give their children time, and they should also allow them speak to them. That is, my daughter should have the confidence to share whatever experience with me. The mothers should grant them that opportunity. And the children, both boys and girls, I want to advise that they should always be open to speak up to their parents, or anybody that is guiding them, they should feel free to speak out.
Okay, Mrs. Bai, our time is up. Your agency has been involved with both parents and victims who may have gone through these experiences. Give us your concluding words of what parents need to do and victims who face these experiences. How should they respond? The tips they should abide by.
Like you said, confidence building. The parents must build the confidence in these children that they should be able to tell them anything at any time. If your child cannot speak to you, who else will your child speak to? So the parents should be able to make these children free to talk to them. Let them come out clean and talk to them, even if they fall. But there are sometimes that maybe they think that if I tell my mom, she's going to kill me or they're going to drive me away from home. And actually, sometimes I worry when a parent says that a girl has been driven away from home because she's wayward. It's your duty. We have to keep working on the children. So build that confidence. Let them make you, like somebody said, my mom is my best friend. I would say that personally, my children tell me everything. If they wake up today, they're not feeling good, they call mommy. Everything is about calling me. So if your children should be able to speak with you, have more time with your children. Ask more questions. When I remember growing up, from university I come home and working, my mother said, why are you working like this? I said, Mama, how am I working? She said, because this university children, sometimes you go and learn something. My mother's eye was on me till I got married. Even when I got married, she was intruding in the house. That is how she was. She was everywhere. She would check everything. So mothers, put more time. Add more time.
Fathers.
See more time. I'm a mother. I will not compel somebody else, but I'm telling my own gender to do our job. The fathers, the same thing. Fathers, you see your boy, it's what you imbibe in him that he will take out. It's not what even the mother imbibes in him. He sees his father. He may have ego. You have to build that confidence in the boy. Some have low self-esteem. They can't talk to a girl, but they can rape a girl. So imbibe that thing in him. Let him have that self-esteem. Let him feel that. And let him, like somebody says, how you treat your wife at home also matters. Because whatever you do, the boy is watching you. Yeah. My father loves my mom. She does that, he does that, he does that. Teach a boy to learn to treat a woman properly. But not that stupid ego is that I cannot open the door of a car for a woman. How dare you? How can I do? I can't pack plate. That is not sending any good signal to the boys. Make them know that girls are to be treated nicely. And also let him know about his body. That's the most important thing. Because the boy too has problem in dealing with puberty. Even when they start having hair under their chin, they don't even know how to handle it. Under their armpit, they don't know. So let them know. The father should tell, the mother should tell. It's about parenting. And then I'll say that the counselors in the schools have to be enhanced to be able to give knowledge to the children when they are at home. When they are in school, I mean. So it's important that we should all work together. If it's a society that we are building, and these children are going to be our leaders later, and then sometimes you might find somebody that was a rapist that is in the House of Assembly. What laws do you think you'll be doing? So if we don't build a society that we want to see in the future, we will regret it later. So it's a duty for all of us.
We pray we don't get to the point that we'll regret it. But this is where we must have to draw our curtains on today's edition of Perspectives, which we focused on the need for sex education for children to curb child molestation. I'm deeply grateful to our discussants on the program, the Zonal Commander, National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, Makurdi Zonal Command, Mrs. Gloria Bai. Thank you so much for your insights with us on the program.
Thank you, Nathaniel.
We also appreciate a teacher and school counselor with Unique Secondary School, Makurdi, Miss Grace Iorkumbur. Thank you so much, Miss Iorkumbur, for coming on Perspectives.
Thank you.
Dear listener, that's our program for today. Join us again on Wednesday for another edition. My name is Nathaniel Nongu. Let's do all we can to protect our children from being molested. Thank you so much. Have yourself a great week. Goodbye.